Hello everyone, it's Too Deep. Today, I want to share with you a story about a moment that no one expected, the moment I met James again. The small fire inside the wooden shed had just faded, leaving wisps of smoke drifting lazily into the quiet afternoon air. I stood there, looking around, confused and a little breathless. James, where did he go? He was just here. The warmth he left behind still lingered, as if he had slipped away only seconds before. His story had been a painful one. Because of me, a girl without wealth or status, James had been pushed away by his own father. The man who should have protected him instead turned cold, letting pride and class divide their family. James, with his gentle heart, chose to leave everything behind. He hid himself in a small countryside village, living like a farmer, with calloused hands and a tired smile that seemed to fade a little more each day. One evening, his mother found him. She stood quietly, watching her son working under the dim light, his clothes dusty, his arms full of scratches. Her voice trembled as she said, "Come home with me, son, please don't suffer like this." But James shook his head, sadness clouding his eyes. "If I go back, Dad will only make things harder for Diep and little NHI. I don't want anyone else to be hurt because of me." He missed home. He missed the days when the family laughed together, when meals were warm and hearts even warmer. But those memories felt distant now, almost unreal. His mother swallowed her pain, agreeing to keep his return to Vietnam a secret. She promised to tell everyone that James was still abroad, still working, still fighting for a future. Before leaving, she reminded him gently to eat, then walked away on the narrow dirt path, her figure shrinking behind tall rows of dried corn. Meanwhile, somewhere else, a different conversation was happening, one filled with shadows and hidden intentions. A man hired by James's father reported, "Diep said she will give up on James." The older man seemed strangely satisfied. He promised the messenger a generous reward, even an entire woodworking factory, if I kept my word. Everything had to stay silent. Nobody else could know. But while they believed the story was already under their control, my heart was leading me down a completely different path. It was drizzling when I arrived at the village where James was staying. The cool afternoon air carried the smell of earth and dried corn leaves rustling in the wind. I didn't know what I would say, or even what I hoped to find, only that my heart refused to let the distance between us grow any larger. Then I heard it, the steady sound of a hoe striking the ground. I stepped into the yard and froze. James stood there, thin, worn, covered in dust, yet still somehow strong and gentle in the same way he had always been. When he turned toward me, our eyes met, and for a moment, the world simply stopped. His voice broke softly, disbelieving. "Diep, is it really you?" I walked closer, my eyes stinging with unshed tears. "I came because I needed to know why you chose to walk away from everything. And because I never once gave up on you." The rain was now falling softly, tapping on the roof, wrapping us in a quiet world of our own. In that unexpected moment, in that place untouched by lies, pressure, or fear, we realized something simple and true. Love doesn't disappear. It only hides, waiting for courage, waiting for one honest moment to breathe again. No matter the schemes, the secrets, or the promises made behind closed doors, there we were, two people standing face to face, hearts open, finally seeing each other clearly for the first time in a long while. And in that single moment, everything felt possible again.